Hello and welcome. I'm Pam Musser, and today is day 30 that I've been reading 1 Corinthians 13. My goal is 40 days, and I'm so excited to be approaching that finish line. You might be asking why 40 days? Well, 40 days was, first off, the number that popped into my head once this idea was conceived. But beyond that, it has much significance. God considers 40 days a very significant time period. Whenever God wanted to prepare someone for his purposes, he took 40 days. And there's plenty of evidence of that in the Old and New Testament. For example, Noah's life was transformed by 40 days of rain. Moses was transformed by 40 days on Mount Sinai. David was transformed by Goliath's 40-day challenge. Elijah was transformed when God gave him 40 days of strength, from one meal. Jesus was empowered by 40 days in the wilderness, and the disciples were transformed by 40 days with Jesus after his resurrection. The second question you might be asking yourself is, what is 1 Corinthians 13? That's a super question. It is from the Bible, located in the New Testament, and it defines and describes what love is and what love is not. Many times you hear it at weddings, and it's typically love is patient, love is kind, and that's all you hear. And when I began reading it, it really transformed my attitude and helped heal many of my relationships. And I wanted to pass it on. It occurred to me that maybe others didn't have a clue what the definition and description of love is, since in the dictionary, it describes it it refers to it, frankly, as romantic, more so than anything. I mean, which it is, but it's a lot more than that. I've been thinking a lot about faith, that word, and how hard it has been for me in my life to let things go. But that's what faith is about. And I found a description that was really helpful. Faith occurs when we cease trying to do something by our own efforts and trust someone else to do it for us. Faith is the one attitude that is exactly the opposite of trusting ourselves. So when I let something go, when I have faith that God's going to do this or resolve this, I let it go. And that means, in my experience at least, it's out of my mind. I'm released of it. And it's a physical release. It's like, I've let that go. I know I have. Another way that has been helpful for me is when I've had a problem that's been difficult to let go of, I just jot it down and stick it in a God box. Anytime that comes to mind, I say, okay, God, I gave that to you. You take care of it. I'm busy right now. It's very helpful. It continued to say, apparently, this is why God decided that faith would be the attitude of heart by which we could obtain salvation, that it might be according to grace. That is, that it might be an entirely free gift of God, not dependent on any merit of our own. And what the word salvation means is deliverance from harm, ruin, or loss, and all of its consequences. And as a Jesus follower, it is brought about by my faith in Jesus Christ. And that's, of course, available to anyone who wants it. Isn't that great? I love those definitions. I love getting more details. It's helpful for me. I'm going to read from the Passion Translation today. And as I'm reading, it occurred to me that why don't you think of this as God's affection for you? and just receive it. God's affection for you, and just take it as a gift. This is how he thinks of you. Love, the motivation of our lives. If I were to speak with eloquence in earth's many languages and in the heavenly tongues of angels, yet I didn't express myself with love, my words would be reduced to the hollow sound of nothing more than a clanging cymbal. And if I were to have the gift of prophecy with a profound understanding of God's hidden secrets, and if I possessed unending supernatural knowledge, and if I had the greatest gift of faith that could move mountains but have never learned to love, then I'm nothing. And if I were to be so generous as to give away everything I own to feed the poor, and to offer my body to be burned as a martyr without the pure motive of love, I would gain nothing of value. Love is large and incredibly patient. Love is gentle. Love is consistent. Love is always kind and steady. It refuses to be jealous when blessings come to someone else. Love does not brag about one's own achievements, nor inflate its own importance. When God's love is allowed to penetrate our spirit, it transforms us. It revolutionizes us, and it causes a radical change within our spirit and soul. And who doesn't want that today, right? Love does not traffic in shame and disrespect, nor selfishly seek its own honor. Love is not easily irritated or quick to take offense. It doesn't keep score. It overlooks offenses and remains focused on what is good, refusing to hold resentment in our hearts. Love joyfully celebrates honesty and finds no delight in what is wrong. Love is a safe place of shelter, for it never stops believing the best for others. Love never takes failure as defeat, for it never gives up. Does not focus on what is wrong, but will bear with the shortcomings of others. Love is the safe place that offers shelter, not exposure. So you see, this is how God loves us. He just wants to shower love upon us to help us feel safe. Love never stops loving. It extends beyond the gift of prophecy, which eventually fades away. It is more enduring and permanent than tongues, which will one day fall silent. Love remains long after words of knowledge are forgotten. Love never, not even once, fails or lapses. Our present knowledge and our prophecies are but partial. But when love's perfection arrives, the partial will fade away. Perfect love puts everything else in second place. It supersedes all our achievements. When I was a child, I spoke about childish matters, for I saw things like a child and reasoned like a child. But the day came when I matured and set aside my childish ways. For now we see but a faint reflection of the riddles and mysteries as though reflected in a mirror. But one day we will see face to face. My understanding is incomplete now, but one day I will understand everything, just as everything about me has been fully understood. Until then, there are three things that remain: faith, hope, and love. Yet love surpasses them all. So, above all else, let love be the beautiful prize for which you run. Thank you for joining in today. Have a wonderful day. Peace.